Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 35 of the Runnin the Paint podcast. I'm Miles with Jackson, Nick, and Joey. Guys, how are you doing today?
Excited. We got a good one here today.
What's up, boys? What's up, everybody? You're all looking fine except for Jackson. Jackson's going to cut off me, Miles, and Joey. All got our suits on for the big award show.
Yeah, well, sorry, I'm poor.
The first ever Runnin the Paint awards show. This is going to be a lot of fun. We've got every award. You guys were involved too with different polls on Instagram, and it's going to be a lot of fun to go over all these awards coming up later in the episode. But first up, a lot of stuff happened over the last few days now that we're in the final stretch of the regular season, coming down to it. First off, let's talk about some games. On Wednesday night, it was the battle for the number 1 seed in the Western Conference between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. And after it was pretty close through the first 3 quarters, the Nuggets took off in the fourth quarter, led by Christian Brown and Peyton Watson.
Lucky.
Joey, start us off. What did you think about the Nuggets' fourth quarter?
I thought it was fantastic. I thought Christian Braun was – I've never seen him feel like that, but that's exactly what they need going into the playoffs. This was a perfect game to get ready for the playoffs, to lock in them getting the number 1 seed. If they're going to make it – obviously we know they're star players, but getting Peyton Watson and Christian Braun going – right away, right before the playoffs, is huge for them.
No disrespect to my fellow pod members. I believe it's Christian Brown.
Yeah,
Christian Braun.
Yeah.
Christian Brown.
Braun, right?
Christian Brown.
Is it pronounced Brown? I thought it was Braun.
He looks
like it. It looks
he won
like
a natty in Kansas with dude we drafted, Ochai.
He won.
Oh, yeah.
He's never been a loser.
I do want to point out,
he won in college. He won in the NBA already.
No, you said something interesting there.
yeah.
Christian Brown and Peyton Watson are going to need to step up if the Nuggets want to make a run. They lost a lot of pieces from last year, and they're not 100% healthy. We saw Jamal Murray just come back from injury, and he's still trying to get the juices flowing. But between the Nuggets and the Celtics, the two best teams in the league, doesn't really seem like either of them are taking their foot off the gas here late in the season.
No, they aren't. And we'll talk about the Celtics a little bit later, I think. But going into the game, the day we're recording this on Thursday, tonight they're still playing a bunch of their stars, and there's literally 2 days left in the regular season.
Yeah, they got the Knicks at home tonight, and then
they
should have one more game after that.
Yeah, for the Nuggets too.
So the Nuggets, I mean, this obviously huge for them. This essentially, you would think would seal them getting the number 1 seed. You wouldn't see them dropping it now, especially since their last 2 games are against the Spurs and the Grizzlies. So you would expect that they would pick up that number 1 seed, which is big for them, obviously. I know before the game, they were all asked, how big is this game, blah, blah, blah. And Jokic was saying that it wasn't a big game, but it was a big game for them to get the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
It is huge for them to get the 1 seed. I remember us talking a couple weeks ago, at least for who we would think we would want to give the MVP to, and we were talking. Obviously, Luke has put his name hugely into the conversation, but we were talking hey, whoever gets the 1 seed, the Thunder or the Nuggets, whoever gets it, I would have to give it to them because they're contributing to the winning, and it seems like the Nuggets are going to hold off for the 1.
Yes, definitely a big-time victory for the Nuggets there. And for the Timberwolves now, they're back tied with the OKC Thunder for the number 2 seed. So that'll be a fun little battle as we finish off the rest of the season now that the Nuggets have kind of potentially given themselves some separation to close out the season.
They should tank for number 3.
They should tank to 3.
The Nuggets?
Yes, I'd rather play the Pelicans. No, not the Nuggets. The Timberwolves.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, would you guys agree
I'd rather play
that
the Suns or the Pelicans than the Dude, why is everyone winning 2 games right now?
Exactly. That's why you can't really none of the matchups are set really. That's why you can't really tank for matchups because you can only play the games in your schedule.
We only have one that is actually set, right? The Mavericks and Clips.
Yeah, that's the only series that's set, but even then, like, we still don't know who's going to get home court advantage. Like, they're locked into 4 and 5, but that's
But
the
it's
only
going to be
series
who
we
gets
know.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Clippers are losing that.
I feel safe saying that if Denver was anywhere within like the top 5 seeds, they'd still be the odds-on favorite to come out of the West.
I think so.
No, like, I think they just match up well with just about anyone.
I agree.
Like the only downside I would say for the Nuggets is maybe their bench compared to last year. But again, when you got Christian Brown and Peyton Watson taking over yesterday, there's not much to question about that bench no more.
Who are some other guys on the Nuggets that they could be looking to step up? I know we've talked briefly about a couple of guys on their bench, like
Strother.
Strother, yeah, I do want to see Strother get some minutes.
I don't know if we'll get to see him much in the playoffs. I think that they're going to run. If they're going to run Christian Brown and Peyton Watson in the playoffs as they're kind of like 3-4, most likely they'll go with veterans in the backcourt off the bench in Reggie Jackson and Justin Holiday. That's who they've been running with the last month or so off the bench. But I think Reggie Jackson is a huge piece for them, honestly, that not a lot of people are talking about. He was acquired by the Nuggets at the middle of last year, but didn't crack their rotation, got to their team a little bit too late. But now they have a legit backup point guard who we've seen have some big playoff moments before for the Thunder, the Clippers, the Pistons. Like, we've seen this guy put up big performances before in the playoffs, so I think that he's a big guy for them off the bench.
I also would have to say, just to give Jokic some rest, DeAndre Jordan needs to come in and at least play like 5 to 10 minutes just to give Jokic some rest in the playoffs and like quality minutes. Because we know when Jokic is off the floor, the entire Denver team just goes to crap. But if DeAndre Jordan comes in and at least plays defense, gets his rebounds, doesn't need to score or anything like that, but just does what he does, that'll be huge as well.
What I really like about this Denver team is they got the same starting 5, the same core guys that did it last year. And now the new guys are kind of like Brown and Watson. They're really kind of getting into the fold a little bit. But then you talk about Jackson and even Jordan. Those guys might not stuff the stat sheet or jump out of the gym or anything like that. But they're reliable. You know what you're getting from them. You can depend on them when you need to rest Jokic for a couple plays.
Yeah. They got that playoff experience.
I like their versatility.
Yeah, very versatile, as you said, Nick. And as we get into playoff previews and predictions, once the series are set for sure, I have a feeling that the Nuggets, they would probably only go to DeAndre Jordan in foul trouble, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
I would suspect that they would play Aaron Gordon as that backup 5.
Well, he could get in foul trouble too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it comes down to. Like, I remember it was game 5 of the finals last year when they clinched. It was Gordon, Jokic, and Jeff Green all picked up early foul trouble, and DeAndre Jordan came in the first quarter of game 5 and provided a couple minutes there. So
which is all you need. Which is all you need.
Yeah, minutes that can really hold you by until you can get your stars back on the floor.
On the other end, for the Timberwolves, they're getting Cat tomorrow. They're getting Cat back.
That's worth talking about in itself. Karl-Anthony Towns returning tonight as we're releasing this episode against the Atlanta Hawks. This is interesting, coming back with only 2 games remaining to really get back in the flow of things against the Atlanta Hawks, and I believe their final game is the Phoenix Suns on Sunday afternoon. So I guess 2 teams that don't really have a lot of bigs. Like, the Hawks are really disheveled in the front court with their injuries, and the Suns aren't super big besides when they go to Bol off the bench. But like, this is a good 2-game stretch, I guess, for him to get back in it. But it is only 2 games. That is a quick period.
Yeah,
it's interesting that the same. Oh, sorry, Joey.
No.
Very interesting. The same 2 guys that were responsible for Miles' favorite moment of the year when they dropped 60 and 70 points on the same night both got meniscus injuries and are coming back in the last week of the season. And kind of a soft schedule to get back into the flow of things.
Yeah, very
strange,
good point. It is very true, especially those 2 guys. In 2019 got in a little scuffle or whatever. I don't know if you guys remember that. Those 2 both got a big time scuffle there. And,
I saw the highlight actually today of them just going at each other. I was like, wow, what is the world? I'm like, man, what a throwback.
We came a long way.
Oh,
Now they
yeah.
both tear them
right. What does this return mean for the Timberwolves for you guys? How does this impact their playoff chances really to perform in the playoffs?
Gago, what do you think? You're the Timberwolves guy.
You are
I
the
mean,
Timberwolves guy.
I thought they were contenders before. This just solidifies it for me. Like I think they could win it all.
You ain't worried about Cat only having a couple games to come back?
No, because I think Chris Finch is a good coach, and I think in the playoffs, if Cat isn't playing that well, I don't think he'll hesitate to put Nas Reed in if he has to.
That's the good thing to have Nas Reed like that.
The greatest player ever.
So I give this team, along with the Clippers, the best shot at beating Denver in the West.
I don't have confidence.
Doesn't necessarily mean I give them the second and third best odds. What'd you say?
The Clippers are getting really cold at the wrong time right now, in my opinion. I'm not as confident.
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
just saying like
Clippers as I
matchup wise.
usually would be. Yeah.
Or
Well, they
like
got
Jokic
shorter
stopper
Zach
kind of.
Edey at center.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like the length that the
Big
Clippers have on the
dude.
wings with PG and Kawhi. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I give the Timberwolves and the Clippers the best two odds after the Nuggets to come out of the West. I think they match up the best with the Nuggets, but for me, this doesn't change a whole lot with the Timberwolves because they're still in the same boat where you kind of lack experience. I haven't seen them do it yet in the playoffs. Still needs to be proven. I mean, Anthony Edwards was minus 16 last night against the defending champs, and that's not great. So hopefully Cat getting back kind of helps the offense. Ant didn't have a bad offensive night by any means. He 2 of 6 from deep, 9 of 18 from the field.
He didn't score in the fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure. One of the only times this year he did not score in the fourth quarter. Which just says something about the Nuggets defense there. They were able to hold one of the best players to not score in the fourth quarter of a huge game.
And I think that's a good point because that won't happen if Cat's on the court.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think Cat even having a couple games back, like I think it makes them pretty much almost a lot kind of not even like doesn't really matter who they play in the first round, to be honest, because I think I'm with you, Nick. I think maybe not with the Clippers, but like maybe matchup wise, but like I think the Timberwolves and for me it's probably the Mavericks give the best shot to dethroning the Nuggets. But the Timberwolves getting Cat back is absolutely huge because that offense, like them shutting Ant down, they can't double team if he starts getting hot because you got Cat. Because then you start double teaming him. And then you can get in foul trouble. Like a lot of things can happen. The versatility of having Cat on the floor is huge. I think it's a huge get back to get him back because like before, if he didn't come back, honestly, it was up for grabs to see if they would even get out of the first round, in my opinion. Now, to me, getting him back, it's a lock to make it out of the first round.
Yeah, and on Sunday with the Suns playing the Timberwolves, that could very well be a first round matchup.
Preview.
That's what it would be right now.
Yeah.
Personally, if you're the Timberwolves, who would you prefer to play in the first round? Not that you can, track matchups, but
always the Kings. It's always going to be the Kings. Anybody you ask in the West, who is your preferred matchup in the first round? It's Sacramento.
No, I'd rather have the Suns in the first round.
I'll be honest. If I was the Timberwolves, I would be hoping the Warriors make it out of the play-in because I would love the Wolves to play the Warriors. They would dominate the Warriors. I'm sorry. Like I know Steph is Steph, but my goodness, like I think Ant would cook that team. Cat would cook Draymond. Nobody's scoring inside against Gobert. I think it would be a sweep.
That's the thing about the Warriors, though. They don't score inside. They score outside.
Well, he's saying Minnesota. They wouldn't be able to stop Minnesota from scoring inside.
That as well, yeah. Like they have no shot. Like they would just be able to just dominate.
Interesting. Well,
I would be hoping for that.
Well, with the Warriors, actually, they on a Tuesday night in a big game between them and the LA Lakers, the Warriors picked up a huge win, and they're only a half game back of the Lakers for jumping back into that 9th spot, and swapping with the Lakers.
They had the sniffles though. AD and Bron were not AD was out. LeBron had the sniffles, and the Warriors won by a lot.
Yeah, that's they're just waiting for the playoffs. They're waiting for the play-in. Sorry, not the playoffs. Play-in.
Yeah, play-in, because I mean, two of these teams down here, two of these really good teams are not going to make it.
Nope.
Which is still crazy to think that at this time next week, some of these really good teams, their seasons are going to be over.
Cabo.
Cancun on 3. 1, 2, 3. Cancun.
We mentioned the Mavericks there. I quickly want to mention the Dallas Mavericks. They have been the best team in the NBA over the past couple of months. They picked up a huge win in Miami on Wednesday night. They're 5th in a row. To clinch 50 wins on the season. They've clinched their Southwest Division, and they are now, I believe, 16-2 since March the 5th.
Talking about what Goglin said, and the Clippers are getting cold at the wrong time. The Mavericks are getting hot at the right time.
The Clippers,
too hot. Are they putting out all their heat right now?
Ooh.
Could be.
I don't think so. Personally, I'm big on the Mavericks. I'm still a Kyrie fan, and Doncic obviously, but those two are the best duo I've seen play right now. No, I don't see anybody stopping those guys. It's hard. It's so hard because, we slowed Luka Doncic to even get like 30 points. Oh, Kyrie still got 40 though.
Yeah, Luka had another dang near 40-point triple-double in this game last night against Miami. They blew him out. He had 39 in the triple-double. He's been averaging 32, 10, and 10 for the last 2 months.
Yeah, he's been on an absolute
tear. But do they have someone to stop Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs? They don't have that X factor on defense. Like, they have Gafford, who's been good.
PJ Washington's been really good on defense as well.
But can he defend playoff Kawhi in a 7-game series?
I don't know.
Same thing with them.
Yeah.
You have Kawhi. You can slow him down to 30 points. PG can go for 40, and Harden can add a 20 on that, and Westbrook off the bench can add a 20 off that.
But you could also say the same thing. I don't know if Harden is going to be able to stop Luka or Kyrie. That's the thing. Whoever Harden's guarding, I think they just go attack him.
Harden's probably going to be on. Is Derek Jones still starting for them?
Yes. Yeah.
Or is it?
When we get
they're gonna plug Harden on him, put Kawhi and PG on the guards.
There are definitely ways to get by it. I mean, the Clippers, they were on a cold stretch, but they've definitely picked it up recently. They've gotten some huge wins as of late. Against the Nuggets, the Cavs, and maybe the most shocking one in Phoenix against a Suns team that desperately needed a win and started the game up 35-4. I still can't believe that happened.
I thought that was like Photoshop when you first sent that in our group chat. I was like, what?
No, it was real.
There was a dude that proposed in the first quarter.
I saw that too.
And the score was like 27-4.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, you couldn't have just waited till the end of the game when at least it's a little closer.
And then even on the second night of a back-to-back, it was a 1-on-1 series. The Suns played the Clippers in LA on Wednesday night. And the Clippers, they didn't have any of their guys playing because they've solidified the 4 or 5 seed. And Bones Highland nearly led the Clippers to beat a full-strength Suns team.
Bones Highland's a beast.
Yeah, he's a dog.
He's a beast. He's just been on the bench all season because they've got so much great guard play. But are you guys worried at all about the Suns with these 2 results? I mean, barely beating the Clippers.
I've been worried about the Suns all year. I just don't know what's been going on with them. It's just been so hit or miss. Obviously, you got the stars so they can turn it on whenever they whatever they want. The problem is they just don't do it consistently enough for me to trust them to actually do that. I know it's the playoffs and everything changes. Like LeBron, is always going to do that. But he also plays consistently well throughout the season. These guys just haven't done that.
Here's the thing with the Suns. I'm looking at their whole season right now, and the best stretch was 14-3 right before the All-Star break, and they won 7 games in a row, and then they dropped 2, then they won 6 or 7 out of 8 to finish it. That's what you need to be doing, like in the playoffs. Like obviously, like you need to be on that level, and the rest of their season is like there's a lot of red in there. So just seeing one run or so, like I'd rather see a consistent year where it's like we're gonna rattle off 5 wins in a row, we'll drop 1, we're gonna go 10-2 over the next 12 games and keep that consistent for the whole year. When you go like 14-3, even like the Cavs went 18-2, the Clippers went 16, or I'm sorry, the Mavericks right now they're hot and then they're not. So I prefer to see the consistent upward trend over the entire year, or at least a consistent like high level rather than the peaks and the dips and the valleys.
I saw a post that pissed me off. It was like, if Frank Vogel was coaching the Lakers this year, they'd be the 4th seed. I said, dude, no, they just wouldn't.
Frank Vogel.
I was like, the Suns are literally about to be tied or even below the Lakers. How are you gonna say that? When I think Frank Vogel has like relatively the same type of team around him as Darvin Ham. I think he'd be better than Darvin Ham. But to say they'd be a 4 seed?
That's a hot take. Or a freezing cold take.
That's a cold take because he's a championship level coach with 3 Hall of Famers and they're in the play-in talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not at all where we expected them to be at the beginning of the season. But
I did.
With these what, at 7?
I think it was close. I think it was like 5 or 6.
But like they aren't in the worst spot possible because the top of the West is made up of a couple teams with inexperience, or I guess lack of playoff success, with the Timberwolves and the Thunder. So it's not the worst position in the world. They just have to hope that they can turn it on at the right time, which is now. They need to turn it on. They need to turn it on now. I believe. Well, as I was saying, their last game is against the Timberwolves. I'm not sure what their other game is.
They do have a 1.5 game lead out of the 8th spot now, so a little bit of a cushion there. If they obviously win these next 2, then they're out of the play-in.
What is home court gonna do in the play-in for them? I mean,
no, I'm just saying to get out of the 8th spot, to get the 7.
It's a huge game. Phoenix plays Sacramento.
That's a huge game.
That's a huge game because currently Phoenix is 7th, Sacramento is 8th.
Yeah, well, Sabonis is clutch, so
yeah.
Well, but the Kings have been on their own struggles with their injuries to their main shooting guards. Even though, I don't know if we've mentioned this name on this podcast at all this season. Keon Ellis has been really good all season and has stepped in and has been solid at that starting shooting guard position. But the loss of Monk and Hurd on the offensive end have definitely been big stories for the Kings recently, and that could as Nick has predicted, that could end up with them missing the playoffs entirely because of the bad injury luck.
100%.
Yes, sir. Nick is always right. Another great take. Don't watch the rest of the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Don't watch the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, great take.
Let's switch on over to the Eastern Conference. But the biggest story of, potentially the season, honestly, in the playoff hopes, with Giannis Antetokounmpo straining his calf in a scary non-contact injury on Tuesday night against the Celtics. Very scared initially that could have been an Achilles injury, but thank goodness it's just the calf. But he's going to be out for the rest of the regular season, obviously, and I'm sure his status will be a game-by-game thing when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, I've never seen an injury like this. Like what he just passed it in, started walking down the court, and then felt something and sat right down on his bum, on his behind. And then, did he wait for anyone to help him up, or did he just get back up?
I think he tried to get back up once they called the timeout. Like the way it looked like it was like he had just gotten a cramp in his leg or something and just couldn't move. But it stinks for the Bucks too. I mean, You know, at the most important time of year, the last thing you need is your superstar All NBA player to be banged up going into the playoffs.
I was surprised it was only a Cavs
can win a
series.
series. With the type of team they have, Dame can win a series by himself.
That's
Nothing he ain't dealt with in Portland.
He did do it in Portland. He owns Paul George.
I think he could
What
beat
if they
the
make it to the second round? They make it to the second round, play the Cavs. He gets a pass in when it's 96 to 99. Oh wait, no, 98 to 99. It's a fading three from the left elbow three over everyone. Sends your franchise into shock.
I think a Bucks Cavs series this year would actually be really fun to watch.
I was gonna say I only have one problem with that statement. It's that the Cavs make it out of the first round. I'm sorry, I just don't see it.
If you guys played the Bucks, I think Giannis would average 70 a game with your big.
Dude,
What?
honestly, at minimum 50.
Oh, the Knicks are looking like they're gonna get the Pacers first round. Let's go.
Oh, dude,
No,
such an easy win for the Knicks.
I'm assuming that New York finishes at 2.
That's true.
Yes, I'm assuming they finish at 2 because they play Boston Thursday. Then they finish with Brooklyn and Chicago. And Milwaukee has to play OKC and Orlando. I assume that New York. That's an easy schedule for New York.
Will sit. Or not? No, Orlando won't sit. But
the projections disagree with you, Miles. They only give New York a 4.7% chance to get the 2 seed.
Yeah, your predictions suck.
Milwaukee's at 82. Cavs are at 13.
Wow, Cavs
Interesting.
Blazers.
But that doesn't take into account the
Cavs Blazers. He's just reading stats for what everyone else is saying.
Yeah, they're Cavs. The other people that you're looking at are Cavs Blazers.
It's Basketball Reference.
Oh, they're not Blazers for anybody.
Except for the Cavs, apparently.
Basketball Reference, shout out to Basketball Reference for giving the Indiana Pacers a higher percentage chance to win the finals than the Cavs.
They're smart.
They're
smart. They're smart. They're smart.
Stupid. What are you talking about?
That's so smart.
Stupid. That's stupid.
If
How many
the Pacers
banners
have
do
a
the Pacers
point,
have?
if the Pacers have a 0.05%, the Cavs have a 0.01%.
That's just
it's
dumb.
giving the Pacers a 1% chance, and it's giving the Cavs a 0.9% chance to win the finals.
Oh, I was close.
That's just dumb.
I wonder how they come up with. I wonder how they come up with the only thing could be because the Pacers wouldn't have to play the Celtics till later on if that even happened, but it's not going to happen. I guess one other. Well, I guess we need to talk about quickly the Bucks Celtics game. Well, yeah, Drew Holiday signing a 4-year, $135 million extension with Boston. Safe to say that, I mean, with the season that the Celtics have had, that trade was definitely a success for Boston.
Yep.
That seems like a good value for him, too.
Yeah.
That contract is going to age well, especially with the bigger TV deals and all that.
Yeah, definitely a good deal for him.
It's going to age well. Hopefully he ages well, though. I mean...
Well, he'll be fine.
Paying him all
for
that
his
money,
role on that team, as long as that team stays together, I think he can do that.
Oh,
yeah.
You do?
Well,
yeah, he took a step back this year. It's not like he's playing at the same, like...
I wouldn't even say he took a step back this year. I think his role may have taken a step back, so his numbers may be lower, but I definitely don't think he's a worse player than last year.
He's just got a different role.
I guess I just meant like his usage is down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So he should be able to sustain a lower usage over a longer period of time.
Yeah, this could, playing this type of role now at this stage of his career, I mean, should in theory prolong his time in the NBA.
They did it with Al Horford.
Yeah.
Yeah, Al Horford as well. Both Holiday and Horford shooting the three at an incredible percentage this season, and just providing at both ends for the Celtics. So they, of course, in great position. The only team out of the 20 play-in teams or postseason teams that are locked into their seeding at number 1, and this has been locked up for a long, long time.
That is insane that they're the only postseason team. Thank you, playing.
Yes, thank you, playing. You guys want to get into these awards?
Let's do it.
I'm so
go
ready.
ahead and do it.
Nick, you
So
are
ready.
so overconfident for someone who might actually just break everyone's eardrums with what you're about to say.
I'm very not confident in my list, but
Like,
I'll try
Okay.
and make a case.
You said he's overconfident. Meanwhile, like 2 minutes ago, he said, "Hey, I had a good take. Stop watching now because it's
dude, I'm
gonna get worse."
terrified. I am actually petrified of what this man's about to say.
So how this worked is we all made our award ballot. The guys all sent them to me along with the results of the fan voting, and I put them all together to create our combined Run in the Paint awards for the 2023-2024 season. So we'll go through each award. I'll list off the nominees. I'll reveal the winners, and we'll talk about it from there.
Sounds good.
First ever award show. You were all
First
here.
ever award
Glad we
show.
all dressed up for the occasion.
Yep. Here, I'll put my sweater on. How about that?
All right.
There we go.
So we're going to start with the Clutch Player of the Year award. This is the second year of this award. De'Aaron Fox won it last year. Not a whole lot of true candidates, but
There's
definitely
only one person.
Definitely
It's
some
literally
players that have
only one.
stood out. So our nominees, and these are the top 3 guys in alphabetical order. So our nominees for the Clutch Player of the Year: Steph Curry from the Golden State Warriors, DeMar DeRozan from the Chicago Bulls, and Damian Lillard from the Milwaukee Bucks. The
winner, chicken dinner, number 30.
winner of the Clutch Player of the Year award is Steph Curry.
Yes, sir.
Steph
I made the case of the
Curry.
midseason award show. I made the case of the midseason award show.
It's not a hard case to make. He was miles ahead of everyone.
Now, I have the graphic on the screen. The guys can't see. I have the full breakdown of what each of us voted. So Nick, Jackson, and myself voted for Curry. Joey picked DeMar DeRozan. The fans went with Damian Lillard. So a bit spread out.
We don't have to talk about the fans on Instagram. I appreciate everybody who supported and answered on Instagram. It was fantastic.
All of Nick's little trolls.
But like half of Nick's baseball team all voted for Damian Lillard.
Bunch of trolls.
Love the Dame time.
With his upcoming takes, you're gonna see why they think that these are the answers.
Dame time.
He's just at practice spewing some garbage. Like, oh yeah, Shay's not even a good player.
Anything that you say bad about me, I'm just gonna talk over you so no one can hear it. Just kidding. I won't do that.
But look, Steph Curry, he made so many big shots for the Warriors this year. Even though their record may not be as great as it was in the past, they played in a huge ton of clutch games this year. And for a lot of them, he was the difference. You can think of several big shots he made against the Lakers, the Suns, the Thunder, and the in-season tournament at the beginning of the year. He made so many clutch buckets this season.
My favorite bucket from Steph Curry this season was when he crossed up Dylan Brooks and put his hands on his face, like, oh.
Oh yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, it's really funny. Really funny.
It was a good bucket.
Dude, you can't even be mad at Steph.
Joey, do you have a case for DeMar? Or are you just gonna let us?
Yeah, let's
No,
hear
there's no
it.
case for DeMar.
I'm trying to look up the stats as well for it.
I just wanted to be different.
No, he is actually, like, according to all the odds, and unfortunately all these odds are from the end of March. Like the one I'm looking at right now is like March 28th was when it was last, but he was the favorite. They actually all have DeRozan as the favorite just because he's played in more of the clutch games because they define it as like the last 5 minutes of like a game. And what did it say? He had like the second most clutch points behind Steph, but like 0.3 points.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like as dominant as you think it was.
No, it's not an outlandish thing. The DeRozan, the most memorable DeRozan game was definitely the game in Indiana. To me, where he did the missed free throw, it went out of bounds. He got the ball back and made a crazy fadeaway jump shot at the buzzer to tie the game against the Pacers. That was the same game where he passed like a bunch of players in the a bunch of Hall of Famers on the all-time scoring list.
Here for this article from, like I said, March 28th, so it's a little dated, but I don't know how many crazy clutch games has happened. But as of that time, it was DeRozan led the league in clutch shots, second in clutch points behind Curry by only 10 points, and he was shooting 51% from the floor, 46.2 from three, and 87.7 from the free throw line in 176 clutch minutes this season. So it's not like he was terribly far behind or Curry. So I'm not super mad at Curry. Like, I was going between them two, but I'm a DeRozan fan, so my bias comes in.
All of that
but
gets
it's not
negated
as
by
crazy as you think.
all of that gets negated by the game they played against the Rockets when he looked like the second coming of Brian Scalabrine when he was injured.
That's fair.
He looked awful.
Same game that DeMar DeRozan body checked Jalen Green for no reason.
Exactly, dude. I would.
That's right.
He lucky I was not there. I
gotta say one thing about Steph before we move on.
Yeah.
Curry is having a career worst year from the 3-point line. 40.7%.
He has, the fact that that's his worst is crazy. I mean, of all time.
Man, what a terrible year, 40% from three.
But no, he has definitely tailed off a little bit. He was off to a really hot start, but it certainly has tailed off quite a bit.
What I was gonna say is in the clutch, that percentage is 46, still up there, 46.3 in the clutch. He knows when to turn it on.
That's crazy. That guy is amazing. Holy crap. Let's move on to most improved, the most improved player award. So our 3 nominees for this award, we've got Tyrese Maxey from the Philadelphia 76ers, Coby White from the Chicago Bulls, and Jalen Williams of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay. And the winner is Tyrese Maxey.
The number 3 player in the league.
Dude, it just makes no sense. That makes no sense to me. It should have been Coby White. Everyone who didn't vote for Coby White is brain dead. Doesn't know ball.
Looking at the breakdown, Jackson was the only person that did not pick Tyrese Maxey, and he did pick Coby White.
That's stupid.
I have since turned my opinions. I was not a fan of Tyrese Maxey winning this award for most of the season, but I've changed my mind over the last little while here. I think he deserves it.
Why'd you change your mind?
Well, my argument for him not winning it's the Sixers. Are you kidding me?
Glazer.
But no, my argument before was that the only things that went up were his minutes, and that's why his scoring went up, his efficiencies went down. But when you look at the full context of it all, the roles that he's had to play were very, very different. Last year, and really, I guess the last 2-3 years, he was seen as their scorer, just a third option on the offensive end, and like their third best threat on the offensive end when they had Joel Embiid and James Harden on the court at both times. This year, he's been asked to do a lot more. Second option, and when Embiid went down, the number 1 option.
I was gonna say, he's been carrying that team for like the last 3 months.
And while their record without Embiid has been terrible, while he's had to be the number 1 option, I just think that the role that they asked him to play and how he was able to step up and make his first All-Star team, his assist numbers did go up a lot. I believe it went from like 3.5 assists to over 6 a game. That's huge for the Sixers. So that's why he's my most improved player.
I was also on Coby White for a good chunk of the year as well. I think for our midseason awards, I think I said Coby White, but I also had changed tune to Tyrese Maxey. But it was also mostly just because he's a star. They're on a playoff team. Like, that's what's gonna happen. Like, he's gonna win.
Play-in team.
He's gonna win.
They're in the same position as Philly.
They're not
Okay.
a playoff team without Maxey. Because
Okay.
you look at the rest of that roster.
The Bulls aren't nearly as good as they are with Kobe White.
Nearly
Okay,
as
but they're
good.
not in the playoffs.
They're a bad team. What are we
But they're
doing?
a bad team.
They are in the
same.
playoffs, but like they ain't getting out of the play-in.
They're only 8 games behind the Sixers. They're both playing.
Only
games.
8
Playing is playing.
games.
Only
Playing is
8
playing,
games.
dude.
Only 8
Playing is playing.
games.
Oh
Playing
my
is
gosh,
playing.
what are we doing?
Playing is
No.
playing.
Maxey kept that team afloat when the best 2 guys that were around him were Buddy Hield and Tobias Harris, who were both 31.
Kept them afloat.
and
They've been
past their prime.
they've been terrible. They've been awful.
And they're
They're
still going to
afloat.
make it out of the play-in and still make it to the playoffs.
Because Embiid's coming back, not because
Yeah,
of Maxey.
but they didn't
Wait
drop
till we get
out
Game
of the
7 in
play-in race
Boston.
or the
I can't
playoff
wait.
race.
Well, because you can't drop out of the play-in race when the Nets and the Raptors and the Hornets and Wizards and Pistons exist.
That's
Just
fair.
saying.
That
Doesn't
is
matter.
fair.
I can't argue that.
That's why the
Raptors
Bulls
have
haven't
been
dropped out of the
awful.
play-in race.
The
That-
Raptors.
No,
Yeah.
the Bulls haven't dropped out of the play-in race because Kobe White has stepped up when Levine got
All right.
injured. That team's
No,
a train wreck.
DeRozan.
They're 8 games back.
No,
That's
Kobe
it.
White is their best player now. Kobe White has been their best player this whole season.
Okay.
Say what you will.
Okay.
He
Say
might
what
be.
you will.
That was the
No, he
case
is.
for a while. I don't think so anymore, though.
Well, he's the best player on a team that is, like we
Oswald
talked about relentlessly. They're just not good.
No.
The Sixers are a legitimate playoff team. And
Sixers suck butt.
the Sixers were a top 4 projection from everyone this year. Or maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't go that
Fifth.
far.
And
so
Embiid
they were.
got injured. That was with a healthy Embiid.
And they had Maxey to keep him afloat. That's why he wins the award.
I
Keep them afloat. What are you saying? They got so much worse when Embiid got injured. Yeah, Maxey kept them afloat, but they're basically the same team that the Bulls are when Embiid's not playing.
And they have 8 more wins.
Well,
All right, no,
Yeah,
never mind.
well, because Embiid's
what
been.
are you
I'm pretty.
saying?
Their
You're
record.
a clown.
Their record is bad when Embiid is out. That is very, very true.
I'm a genius.
Are we really arguing that Maxey can't carry a team? Because
Yes.
when we lose, because when that team lost an MVP caliber type player, the team ultimately got way worse. Oh, shocker!
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
Most
surprise, yeah.
MVP
any
player.
Team,
Yeah.
any team
But we're
would be
talking
like
about
that.
most improved. Maxey went from a near all-star player to an all-star. Kobe White went from a role player to a near all-star player.
I'd say
He's
yeah.
not a near all-star yet.
No,
How is he not?
he was not in the running for the All-Star
Not
game
even
this year. Are you
not
kidding
even
me?
close. Yeah, not even close for an all-star.
No, but nothing. He could be close next year.
Okay, well then
And
next
he
year
could've
we
been-
can
he could've-
talk about it.
Alright,
Next
fine.
year when he makes his first All-Star game, then I'm going to give it to Kobe White.
If he was on a similar type team that was at the success that the Sixers were at during that time, he would have been a near all-star player.
These dudes are the same age, same draft class.
Or I think, yeah, or a year apart.
No, wasn't Kobe White like 2018?
No, he was. Kobe White was 2019. Tyrese Maxey was 2020.
My fault.
Just a year difference. But I do have to look. Kobe White does deserve a lot of love. He was second on the ballot.
Kobe White deserves the award.
He increased his points per game by nearly 10. I mean, he had a great bounce back season. He's one of those guys where it just shows that you have to be patient with guys. Like, it doesn't always just happen the second or third year in the league. Sometimes it takes you to your 5th year at 23 years old to, really explode. Now, the question is, can Kobe White build on this season for the future of the Bulls? That'll be the question for them going forward.
I'm definitely rooting for him in
man.
the future. I'm a big Kobe White fan, so.
Yeah, hard not to root for a guy like that. Moving
trade him.
on, let's go to Defensive Player of the Year. Our finalists for this award: Bam Adebayo from the Miami Heat,
What?
Rudy Gobert from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Victor Wembanyama from the San Antonio Spurs. And our winner is, of course, Rudy Gobert.
Yep.
Rudy Gobert winning his 4th Defensive Player of the Year. And this has been one of those awards that's been locked up for the longest time imaginable.
Very rare air.
Yeah.
4 DPOYs, very rare air. Victor's he's gonna have double that though. So.
Yeah, this is the last. This is
Victor's
definitely the
gonna
last
literally
year.
finish with 20, dude. He's gonna finish with 20.
That would be wild. This is definitely the last year for Gobert to win it, though.
The last year, I mean probably, unless the Spurs are bad again next year,
which they will be.
Oh no, we suck again.
I don't know. It's hard to argue against the anchor and the best defensive player on the best defensive team in the entire NBA.
And that's why he deserves an All-NBA mention. I'm saying now.
We'll get to All-NBA later. We still got a couple more awards to go through.
You're banished from talking for a little bit.
You are banished to the Shadow Realm.
But no, Rudy Gobert, I mean, the defensive turnaround for not even turnaround, but just the success of the Timberwolves this year, it's been because of their defense. Mm-hmm. And it's been, of course, led by Rudy Gobert. They have other guys to surround him defensively, but Rudy is the anchor of the defense, just like we saw for all those years in Utah. And, I guess a big bounce back from last year, which was a big disappointment in his first year in Minnesota. I know I personally had a lot of high hopes for them last year to do what they were doing this year. I expected them to be a higher seed last year. Took them a year to get it all figured out, but they've done it, and it's been very successful. So now it'll come down to.
Give me my credit for being the only person believing them ever.
Miles just said he believed in them last year.
I did.
Yeah, well, should not have given up on them. Fake.
Now we'll see how it plays out in the postseason, where he is proven to, get played off the floor in certain scenarios, but definitely could be different this year.
Yep.
Yep, I'll keep that in mind.
Oh man.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to our next award, Coach of the Year.
Do we still have 6 Man of the Year?
Oh yes, we do have 6. Oh yes, we do. Yes, we do have 6 Man of the Year. I don't know why I crossed that out on my list. All right, we'll do 6 Man of the Year next.
Not in contention for this.
6th Man of the Year. All right, so our 3 finalists for this award. We've got Bogdan Bogdanović of the Atlanta Hawks, Malik Monk from the Sacramento Kings, and Naz Reid from the Minnesota Timberwolves. This was a very, very close award, but at the end of the day, the winner goes to Malik Monk from the Sacramento Kings.
God dang it, I was pulling for Naz Reid.
I was too, Nick.
And at the end of the day, it came down to the fans.
Boo fans.
We were
Most
tied.
Of them are your children.
Joey and I picked Malik Monk. Nick and Jackson went Naz Reid, but the fans went with Malik Monk from the Kings.
Why?
And I can't blame him, man.
I can't blame him.
Like, look, he's been huge for the Kings this year. We're seeing that, how they're struggling without him in the lineup since his injury.
That's the thing. It's just more blatant now because he's out. Like they've been struggling a whole lot more. It's just he's been so consistent this year as honestly probably like their 3rd or 4th best player on a team that's making the play-in or playoffs. They could make the playoffs, but definitely play in. And he's coming off he's just playing great. He's playing great. We knew this was going to happen though. Just like as soon as where was he last year? Like LA or something like that?
No, he was in Sacramento last year.
Yeah, this is second year in Sacramento.
Second year.
Don't let Joey cook anymore.
What?
Let Joey cook. Let Joey cook. Let Joey cook.
Spreading false information.
Well, I got corrected right away. That's okay.
No.
Oh my gosh. Nah. Malik Monk I think he's got in the bag. It's unfortunate that we can't see him finish out the year, but
I mean, he could be back. I mean, it just depends on how far the Kings can make it. And I'm sure when that time comes, we won't project them to probably get that far.
No.
But look, when you look at Monk this year, averaging 15 points, 5 assists a game, I think that's the big one there. a guy that came in, with Charlotte and the Lakers as strictly a scorer. But there have been times this year where they've asked him to be like that main pick and roll partner with Sabonis in clutch scenarios if De'Aaron Fox doesn't have it going. They go to Monk to take some big time shots, and he's delivered a lot. And he's found a home in Sacramento. It's good to see, him find his place in the NBA.
110%.
Yeah, well, does Malik Monk have his own towels that are getting shown at WrestleMania? No, he doesn't.
That's a good point, Jackson. That's a valid, very good basketball reference point.
Like, is it like, there's no player on the planet more popular than Nas Reed.
You're right.
Oh, yeah,
You're
right.
100% right. LeBron James, Steph Curry, out the window.
No, Nas Reed, man. I don't see LeBron towels being shown anywhere. Not given out at games, that's for sure.
Oh my, he's forgetting about
the Lakers.
2009.
The Lakers, we're talking about the 2024 year, not the 2009 most famous person.
Look, the thing that goes against Nas Reed to me, why I gave it to Monk over. So Nas Reed, first of all, he's been fantastic. He's been huge for the Timberwolves, stepping up for
preseason 6 man of the year. Preseason.
Do not put that finger down. That's my thing.
But look, the thing is, like, people are saying, over the last month, like, Nas Reed should be 6th man of the year. Like, the buzz is really hyped up for him over the last month, really.
Well, he's been starting.
He's been starting, exactly. That's the thing. He's been starting for a month. And his best games have come when he started.
He's been sitting on the couch, okay?
Because he's injured. He hasn't started a single game all season.
Yeah, well, the best availability is durability, or something like that.
No, you're right, Miles. I mean, like you said, Malik's found a home in Sacramento. He's really thriving in that role, and Nas's best games came as a starter, so that's not really what the board's for.
Yep.
But Nas Reed has had a fantastic season.
I don't want to take away from Nas Reed. He's been absolutely fantastic and crucial for this Minnesota team to be a top 3 seed.
Yeah, that's really how it is with all these awards. Like, we have to pick, one over the other to win these awards. But that, like, the second best 6th man in the league, that's not a knock on these players. Like, that's a really good thing.
It's a knock.
Not at all.
Westbrook's snubbed.
But okay, now we'll go to Coach of the Year.
Now we go to Coach of the Year.
I don't know why I crossed off 6th man on my list before we even got to it. But Coach of the Year.
Why was Finch not even on ours?
Coach of the Year. There are a lot of good candidates for this award. And our finalists, the 3 finalists for this award, Mark Daigneault from the Oklahoma City Thunder, Chris Finch of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Jamal Mosley from the Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic.
Udoka snubbed.
Coach Nick Kov'S snubbed.
Coach Nick Kov'S
yeah,
snubbed.
Right.
But the winner for Coach of the Year is Mark Daigneault from the OKC Thunder.
Mikey D!
Nah.
Once again, another time where Jackson's the only one that disagreed with the rest of us and the fans, going with Finchy over Mark Daigneault. Jackson, would you like to explain, why you chose Chris Finch for Coach of the Year?
Listen, Marky D was good, but that's just he's a system of having a bunch of young players that just did what they were supposed to do and worked and got better. Okay, yeah, he coached, but with all the dysfunction that the Wolves had last year and everything that Chris Finch had to overcome, they have the same record as the Thunder. And I feel like, I don't know, like he literally had people fighting on the sideline last year, and a lot of dysfunction, and he had to like get everyone to gel together this year, and he did that perfectly. And
I feel like,
and they're also the best defensive team in the league. That is something like.
Shout out to Chris Finch. He's done a great job with the Timberwolves. I just think what your first point of having a bunch of young guys, he can do what he wants with it, that actually just plays more into the favor of Mikey D.
That's the reason.
No.
the second youngest team in the
You don't even know his
NBA.
name. You said Mikey D. You don't
It
even know
is
his
Mikey
name.
D.
No, it's Mark.
It's Marky
It's
D.
Mark.
Oh, it's Mark. Oh, it is Marky D.
No, you're getting muted.
But no,
Right.
Someone muted.
look, having the second youngest roster in the NBA and having them as a top 3, potentially, they were in the race for the best record in the West all season. That is unheard of.
Give Shea Coach of the Year. This point.
Look, it's unheard of. Like I look, the Thunder, I think they were not expected to be in this position. I think that the Timberwolves were expected to have more success than the Thunder.
Yeah.
Just because of the experience. I mean, the fact that you look at the Thunder's rotation, they don't have really any veterans getting minutes for them besides like at the end of the bench with Gordon Hayward as their like 8th, 9th man.
I feel like Isaiah Joe's a veteran. Don't even. Shea's a veteran at this point.
In their
No.
in their in their
at this
5th or
point.
6th in their 5th and 6th year.
Dude hasn't even been in the playoffs. Has he played a playoff game? He's not a veteran.
Shea's been a couple series, but like look,
Oh.
the jump of how many games did they? I need to see how many games they won last year because I'm sure the win improvement was huge for them.
Dude, the Thunder. The only reason I had Chris Finch at the middle of the year is because I thought the Thunder would honestly tail off. I didn't think that they would stay as hot as they did throughout the entire year. You guys said it. It's the second youngest team. It was a lot of question marks coming in the year. Like the potential for this team is here, but in my opinion, they were kind of in the same category as the Spurs in the beginning. I mean,
we remember that. Yeah,
the Spurs. And
what? Well, you thought the Spurs were going to be the greatest team ever at the beginning.
Well, they also had a lot of question marks. Wemby being the biggest one, and I just kind of tried to answer that question on my own. And that's where that prediction came from. But
you said they were a 50-win team.
Correct. I had high hopes.
Oh yeah.
But the Thunder, I was the jury was out on them at the beginning of the year, and there were a lot of question marks around them, and Mark has kept them at the top 2 or 3 seed the entire season.
How many former All-Stars are on the Timberwolves, and how many are on the Thunder? Or All-Stars. Former All-Stars or All-Stars.
Mike
what does that have to do with anything?
Mike drop.
He's got. You could just look at it as they have more talent.
It's Gobert, Ant, and Cat versus
and
an MVP candidate. And who?
Didn't Conley make an All-Star team?
Conley did. Conley did.
Conley
when did he make one? When did he make one?
Mike Conley
made it.
With Utah. No, with Utah. He didn't make it with Memphis. With Utah.
That's an All-Star. Is an All-Star.
Oh, I thought he made it.
Yeah, well, that was a Mickey Mouse All-Star. Yeah, you are.
But no, both these guys definitely deserving of it. And Jamal Mosley of our Orlando Magic. Look, the fact that they could be the 3 seed in the East is wild, man. Like, I know it's honestly, a weak East with a lot of struggling teams at the top of it, but it's a heck of an accomplishment.
I think Joe Mazzulla should also be.
That's who was in the Instagram poll. I had Joe Mazzulla just because him having the best. He's had the Celtics as the locked up as the 1 seed since December. They've had that
literally
locked up
just dominant. It's
and consistent all year. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Thunder and the Magic were very much going into the season the same way. Good potential, but I think they were a year away from being a top 3 seed, and the Thunder are a top 3 seed. The Magic still have the potential to be a top 3 seed this year, technically, and just having that is huge.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on, let's go to Rookie of the Year.
This isn't even just say it, please.
So our finalists for the Rookie of the Year are Chet Holmgren from the Oklahoma City Thunder, Brandon Miller of the Charlotte Hornets, and Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs.
Brandon Miller, let's go.
No, not Brandon Miller. Not Brandon Miller.
And the winner, unanimously, is Victor Wembanyama. Of course.
Come on.
Surprise.
Of course.
Big surprise.
This is just unreal what he's been able to do this year as a rookie.
He's an alien.
Very well.
There's nothing else to say. He's an alien. We were talking about
He's a human being.
We were talking about his logo that he's got now for his signature with Nike, at like in the pre-pod lobby, and it's literally just an alien. It's just what he is. He's insane. He's gonna be He's gonna be one of the best players in the NBA for the next 10 years to come.
He's going to be the best player in the NBA in like 3 years.
Honestly, I just am excited to see him grow offensively. Like we talked about it in the top moments of the season. I pulled up that Wiggins screenshot. Like from that point on, you could tell like, all right, he's going to impact the game anywhere on that end. I'm excited to see what he can do when he's really like given control of the team.
And when he has actual teammates.
Yeah.
Like that's a big part of it. Like I'm pretty sure he shot let's see, well on the season he shot 32% from 3, which is not great, but maybe the most alien stat you can find is that he shot like 46% on off the dribble threes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Good luck.
Look, for the season, he averaged 21 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 3.5 blocks, leading the NBA
by over a block.
Yes, in under 30 minutes per game.
You say O-block?
This is most likely the worst he's gonna be in his career. Like,
yeah.
That's crazy. This is most likely the worst he's gonna be in his career.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be a season where he averages more than 5 blocks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Next year. Next year.
That would be crazy. Imagine if he averages 20, 10, 10, 5, 5.
If he gets to a point where he's averaging 10 assists, oh my gosh.
He could easily average 25, 15, like 8, 5, and like 3 steals.
Maybe. Oh boy, Jackson has left us.
Oh no.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
I'll come back.
All right. Let's get to the big award. Let's get to MVP.
MVP.
This is a race that has become tighter and tighter as the season's gone on. I know we've all been going back and forth on this, kind of like how we were going to go about this award for most of the season, but let's get into it. Our finalists for MVP, as I throw up the wrong graphic, our MVP finalists are Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, going for his 3rd in 4 years. And the winner of the inaugural Runnin the Paint MVP is Nikola Jokic.
Jokic.
Oh.
Nikola Jokic is the MVP. 3 of us went with Jokic, Nick, Joey, and myself, Jackson, and the fans went with Luka Doncic.
How is it not Luka? Like,
I just think Jokic is the best player in the league right now.
It's Luka. He's literally 2017 Westbrook, like to a T. Just I think better. I honestly think better.
Oh, I definitely think he's better than 2017 Westbrook with what he's been able to do with that.
And that was an MVP winner.
It was an MVP winner
from a 6 seed.
And the Mavericks have definitely them turning it on, as we talked about before. He's been playing great at the right time.
He's been playing great the whole season.
Hey, let's not forget that at the beginning of the season, Nick had him as his 21st best player.
That's because Nick has.
He don't play defense.
That's right.
And Jokic does.
He does. Jokic is a very solid defender.
Okay.
But no, look, Nikola Jokic, I think he's had this locked up, honestly, for a while as well. I know the number 1 seed was a thing with him and Shai for a while, but I just think that the best player in the league all year consistently has been Nikola Jokic.
Yep.
It was his award to lose as soon as Embiid went out, and he hasn't done anything and no one else has done anything to knock him off of that pedestal.
Oh.
Luka's moved up to second for sure over
Luka,
SGA,
number
but
one.
Jokic, he's locked up. Especially after the game last night, I'll even say, just because he dropped 40 on what we were talking, the defensive player of the year, who's going to win it. Like, he dropped 40 on him, and they are locking up the number 1 seed. For me, it's about winning.
And he's the best player. He is the best
34,
player.
9, and 10 on
All the advanced stats, win share.
49%. Yeah, well, advanced stats are for nerds. So
But you can't just ignore them. It's just what it is.
I'm going to ignore them.
When you're leading all those categories and you're on the best team in the West and you're the face of, coming off of Finals MVP, it's just a hard case to make it for anyone else.
Especially when you look at the name of the award, most valuable player. Not even looking at record-wise, but on the court, it is visibly noticeable when Jokic is off the floor and they get worse. When Luka is off the floor for the Mavericks, they do still have a guy like Kyrie Irving that can create, and that's why the Mavericks still are solid even when Luka's not on the floor.
Jamal Murray is great. MPJ is maybe the best player in the league.
They're worse with him off the floor. They're worse with him off the floor. It doesn't matter who else is on the floor. Like, when Jokic is off the floor, it makes a huge difference. It makes the biggest difference in the league. He has the biggest impact in basketball.
Are we doing each of our individual All-NBA teams? Because I want to.
Well, I have them all compiled together, but then we can each say ours.
I like my.
If we want to. So we'll get to the All-NBA teams. Our first team, 3 of us completely agreed on all 5 players for All-NBA first
I
team.
wonder who the outlier was.
So, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, of course the top 3 guys for MVP. Then our final 2 guys for our combined list are Giannis Antetokounmpo and Jason Tatum.
I think the first team list is so easy.
That one was a lock. That is
I agree.
Definite lock.
I didn't see this being anything else.
And Durant on my first team.
You had LeBron and
You
Durant?
put LeBron?
Yeah.
Don't even me. That's just.
Okay.
My first team was Shai, Luka, Bron, Durant, Jokic.
Oh,
I think that sounds pretty good.
It's stupid. You know it. You can't even say that with a straight face.
Shai, Luka, Bron, Durant, Jokic.
Okay.
You have a smile.
Okay.
Even Dallas is getting upset. She just started going crazy. She's upset at that pick.
Just stupid.
Okay. All right. I'll go through the other 2 teams. Then we'll go through our individual stuff so we can have all the players out there to talk about. So
my computer's about to die too. So
our all NBA second team.
I can't
you could plug it in.
I can't while we record.
But no, our all NBA second team was Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, and Domantas Sabonis was our All-NBA second team.
Sabonis!
Mine was different.
We'll talk about it, but come on. Sabonis.
And then our third team, this is where it got a little funky. We got Steph Curry, LeBron James, Paolo Banchero, Anthony Davis, and then last spot's up for grabs because we all had a different final guy.
Wow.
So, who wants to start with? I guess I don't know how you guys want to go about it. These individual teams.
We should all nominate one player to fill that last spot, and then we vote.
Okay. Well, okay. So who did you guys have as the last guy on your All NBA third team?
Zion Williamson.
Wow.
All right.
The Devin Booker disrespect is insane.
What do you mean the Devin Booker disrespect?
Top 10 assists, top 10 in scoring.
Okay. So?
Playoff
That's
team.
a pretty good argument.
It's a very, very good argument.
Zion's the best player on a better team.
I had a couple guys different.
I wouldn't even. He's not the best player. He's not the best player.
I had a couple guys different.
You are a Brandon Ingram Glazer.
I love BI.
Because he's the best player.
Speaking of BI, he is planning on coming back against the Lakers for the final game.
Ooh, that is going to be a huge game, Lakers-Pels.
I got that during the podcast, but while we were doing the awards, I had a feeling he'd be mentioned.
Yeah.
All right. My computer's about to die, so should I just go through my first, second, and third?
We have to decide on this last player.
So you're finally with Zion. What you got? My final player was Bam Adebayo.
Oh, okay.
I had two guys different from what we had for the third team, but I'll just pick my last guy, which was Jaylen Brown.
Ugh.
Okay.
Is anyone going to vote for anyone else's player? I'll vote for Bam.
I'm fine with Bam.
I'll vote for Devin Booker.
Oh, shoot.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, top 10 in assists and points is huge. I didn't even know that.
But then now you're putting two Suns players. Or no, you don't have Durant.
I do.
No,
He's on my
that's
second
the
team.
thing. Yeah, Durant's on our second.
Second team.
That's
Sorry.
why I
That's
didn't
bad.
do. That's why I didn't do Booker because I couldn't put two.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a bad argument because we have two.
That's a bad
Lakers.
argument because now you're not putting Jaylen Brown on, and they're the best team in the entire NBA.
No, well, obviously, no. I was gonna say we can't use that because the Lakers. We're gonna have LeBron and Davis.
LeBron.
They both deserve it.
But they both deserve it. They've both been having terrific individual seasons. Look, personally for me, I had like 20 to 21 players in a pool to pick for these three teams. This was very, very difficult.
I will say I also did put Maxey on my third team.
Wow. No
Interesting.
Dame on anyone's list, huh?
No.
Who are my honorable mentions? My honorable
Dame
mentions
and Booker
for this.
were my honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, I guess Booker. Yeah, so my honorable mentions were Devin Booker, De'Aaron Fox, Paul George, and Tyrese Halliburton. But Halliburton's tailed off a little bit second half of the year, so he unfortunately missed the cut on the list.
I saw people. I was doing research and I saw people having him on like the second team or third team, and I was like, he tailed off so bad.
He was a lock in December. He didn't.
He lost it. Yeah, no, he's someone who just lost it for me.
I find it very interesting and very telling in the East with how the Eastern Conference has played out this season that Jalen Brunson, if we go with as Jackson's computer probably died here for the viewers. But if we put Bam as our final third team guy, that Jalen Brunson will be the only Eastern Conference guard to make All NBA. Which I think is very telling that the East guards, it's been pretty, quiet.
Yeah, I guess the only other guy would have been obviously Spida, who didn't make the cutoff.
It would have been
Donovan
Donovan
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Trey didn't make the cutoff either.
That's my thing. Like on a lot of the research I was saying, a lot of people were saying like, hey, Donovan Mitchell would have been a lock at the second team, but he didn't play enough games.
Him and Trey, I think, were both good enough to at least get mentioned in these All NBA talks.
I don't know. I don't
know
not
about Trey.
Yeah. Just
Trey's also
because of the
top guy.
Well, because of their
he's like top 10 scoring,
this
top
year.
10 assists as well.
The Hawks stink though.
That's He's
The
missed
Hawks stink.
He's missed several
He only
All-Star
played in
games with
51
those
games.
stat lines. Yeah, and I mean
true.
the 51 games too.
Not to
Yeah,
mention
no, one
they
guard
were
on it.
playing better when he was out and DeJounte was carrying him.
But yeah, so do you guys want to go through your individual lists at all with these teams really? Or any differences?
I don't because I'll get exposed, but if you guys want to, I will also share.
I'll share. I can share.
All right.
For obviously the first team, it was exactly what we had: Luka,
Yeah.
SGA, Tatum, Giannis, Jokic. Second team, I had Brunson, and KD, Kawhi, and Sabonis.
Same as me.
My third team, I had Steph, Maxey, LeBron, AD, and Jaylen Brown. I just for me, Maxey has just been playing great. To me, he's probably the second best guard in the entire East. Like I said, Dame and Donovan Mitchell are honorable mentions, but to me, I don't know. I think Giannis is just way better for that team, personally. But to me, I don't know how you. The reason I put Jaylen Brown is there, he's having a good year. He's averaging 24 points. He's averaging over 5 rebounds. He's averaging 4 assists. He's having a really good year as the second best player on the best team in the NBA. I don't know how you don't have two Celtics guys on. For me, it came down to winning for that.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with all NBA teams, it's hard to look at that well, I guess harder to look at that than other things. Like the winning thing, I use
For
that
MVP.
for All-Star and well
Oh,
MVP and
okay.
All-Star. Because I think that's really where you award the winning a little bit. That's we saw Jaylen Brown make make All-Star games, for the best team. Um, with this though, it's hard for me to say that Jaylen Brown had a better year than
Devin
you
Booker.
know Bam, Devin Booker, Tyrese Maxey, just because he was on
That's fair.
a better team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. That's perfectly fair. Like I said, I'm not mad about Bam. Devin Booker was an honorable mention. Like I said, him and Booker and Dame were literally my next two guys on the list. I was battling between Jaylen Brown, Booker, and Dame, but I just gave it because of winning.
Yeah, for sure. I guess shout out. We were talking about I think we need to give a little more credit to Jalen Brunson for getting second team All NBA. I know he's been great, but he's taken his play up to a whole nother level the second half of the season. Like now he's up to I'm pretty sure the fourth leading scorer in the NBA.
It's just 40 balls on 40 balls.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to really see this. Just 2 years after, he was with Luka in Dallas. You wonder what that could have been like. But I mean, luckily now the Mavericks have Kyrie, so it's kind of,
Every time you think Jalen Brunson's like, oh, is he going to slow down? Is he going to get tired? Nope, he just drops another 40 bomb. Carries him to a win.
Does it so confident and coolly too. Like you don't see a lot of emotion out of him.
Miles, I know you said your team was pretty similar to Joey's, but go ahead, rattle them off.
Oh yeah, so my second team was the same with Brunson, Edwards, Kawhi, Durant, Sabonis. But my third team, we had the same with Steph, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, but I had Bam Adebayo and Paolo Banchero. Just Bam, his defense this year has been spectacular. And he's arguably the best player from the Heat this season as far as consistency on both ends. And then Paolo Banchero, I think this is a scenario where you have to give love to him because of what he's done for the Magic this season, taking them up to a top seed in the East. Plus, he's been playing great. I mean, you see several plays this year, and you're just like, wow, this guy really can do it all on the floor. Like, he doesn't really have many flaws in his offensive game besides, like, a lack of a super consistent 3-point shot. But all around, he's just been fantastic for the Magic.
I'm a huge fan of the Magic. I'm a huge fan of Paolo Banchero. I'm totally happy having him on a third team because, and I'll be honest, that might be the lowest one he gets for the next like 5 to 10 years. Like I think he could easily be like a team consistent second team, and if the Magic continue to get better, you can even, and he has like a fantastic year, like averaging like 27 to 30, like 8 rebounds and like 4 or 5 assists. That's a first team right there. And that's not out of the question.
He seems like he's around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, this is only his second year. Like, he was Rookie of the Year last year, like, and he's already this good.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to? Yeah, go ahead.
Let's hear it.
All right, first team, like I said, was Shea, Luka, Bron, Durant, Jokic. I didn't think that was that bad. But the second team, I went Curry, Brunson, Tatum, Giannis, Davis.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
At least they're still all NBA guys. I'll give it to you.
There's only one non-All-NBA guy on here. It's pretty Gobert. I put Booker, Edwards, Kawhi, Sabonis. All guys that have been mentioned.
Yeah.
And then I just have Gobert on there because it was like 3 a.m. today, and it was the last day before Miles needed him, and I was stressed out. I was Wemby at first, and then it was Gobert.
Oh, man.
I wish you would have put Wemby there, to be honest.
Best defensive player on the best defensive team. And he's been on All-NBA teams before. He's got a second team and 2 third teams, I believe.
He has. This is also, we should mention, this is the first year with no position locks. You know, it's positionless, and, of course, the 65-game minimum for every award besides the rookie stuff. But it definitely makes a difference because, like, look, Gobert may have made – actually, no, he probably wouldn't have made the team. I was thinking if it was position that Gobert might have made third team, but it'd be Jokic, Sabonis, and Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
So, But no, any other year, like Gobert, I mean, definitely a case like you said, best defender on the best defensive team in the league, and I mean, 14 points per game isn't that bad either.
Yeah.
It's still a threat on offense. Like if you're averaging anywhere around 15 points, you're still kind of a threat on offense.
Shooting at above. Sorry, 65%.
And shooting, his efficiency is always insane. And he's what we all picked. He's gonna win DPOY. Like it's even though he's the only one that like none of us else picked and we think is gonna make it. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't think.
It's slightly embarrassing.
Godwin would be roasting you, but like that's okay. I'll be nice.
Yeah, we'll be nice. We'll be nice. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about, all these awards. Thanks to all the fans that voted on Instagram. Really means a lot. We wanted that input. And look, as we saw for Sixth Man of the Year, that decided that Malik Monk won the award.
Yeah.
I think my
serves as a
baseball team
tiebreaker.
We're gonna have some NBA history practice.
I was about to say half your baseball team. Shout out to NDCL, man. Let's go, baby. Thank you for all the support on Instagram. The polls are still up on the highlights on the page, so until the end of the season, if you go on Instagram, you guys can still vote.
That's right. Links will be in the description down below. Guys, next episode, it's going to be postseason time. We're going to be previewing the play-in tournament. So many things still to be determined in the standings. I guess before we get out of here, what is the one thing that you're really looking forward to over these final 3 to 4 days? I know it's a tough question, but
I think for me, it's waiting for the Kings to lose.
Jeez.
I want to see it all fall down.
Oh my gosh. For me, it's probably we always talk about how the West, they've been so close all year. We don't know who's going to be in what position, and obviously all of them are pretty much still up for grabs. I'll be honest, my attention's turned to the East though, that 2nd through 5 seed. We don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, being a Cavs fan, it's hugely important, but the Magic can still get a 3 seed.
Yeah, there is a legitimate chance that 3 through 6 is tied to finish the season.
That's what I'm keeping an eye on because that obviously impacts me as a fan.
There was a chance a week ago that 2 through 6 all finished tied, which would have been incredible. That would have seen the Magic at the 2 seed. When you look at tiebreakers, which would have been something else.
That's wild.
What about you, Miles? What are you looking forward to?
I mean, and as a Cavs bias, just looking at the Cavs stuff, I'm looking to hopefully get the number 4th seed or the 3 or 4th seed. As far as that goes, which I think we will. The Cavs and Pacers play a huge game tonight as we release this episode. But looking at the league from a bird's eye view, I guess it's the positioning of the 7 and 8 teams in each conference. When you look at the East, the Heat have sort of fallen off a bit. I mean, they had that rough loss to Dallas. They've had just some difficult losses over the past few weeks when they've needed to turn it on. And it's looking like the Sixers are going to host a 7-8 game against Miami, which is going to be super, super fun. And then when you look at the West, there are still 3 or 4 teams fighting for the 7-8 game with the Pelicans, Suns, Kings, and Lakers. And the Suns and Kings play each other. The Pelicans and the Lakers play each other to finish the season. The schedule makers did a great job having all these games, writing the script for us.
I was going to say, they got the script, man.
To have these, I guess, play-in games before the play-in to really get the seeding figured out. But it's just going to be so much fun.
That is a real thing, the play-in before the play-in.
That's what this is. That's legitimately what this is. But
so much fun.
Next episode, we're going to be previewing the 7, 8, and 9, 10 games. And then eventually we'll have our playoff predictions out there. We'll probably have that ready for you on next Friday, a week from today when this gets released, when we'll know all the series. It's crazy. The season's gone by so fast. But you guys have anything else?
I'm going to convince these guys to do a rookie ranking, maybe in the postseason, so we can watch a couple guys play in the playoffs.
Okay.
I did make all rookie teams. We didn't do them all collectively, but I do have my rookie rankings.
I could do that pretty quickly. I could do that. We can do that next episode, maybe with the plans.
Yeah, if there's not as much stuff to talk about at certain points, we could save it for that.
I'll pry it out of them, fans. Don't you worry. We'll get that ready.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the first ever Runnin' the Paint Awards show. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe for more NBA content. Links to all of our socials will be in the description down below. Thank you again so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.